about that, but thank you everyone for coming. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. It's really good to see a crowd of this size again. It's been a little while, so it's really nice to have you all here today. Who's first time to 1 Million Cups? Okay, so just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of who we are, why we're here. We are a nationwide effort to expose entrepreneurs to the community, to give them feedback, to help them grow their businesses, and get them better connected. So in Madison, we've been doing it for about 2 years now. It is a weekly presentation, so every Wednesday we are here at 8 a.m. bright and early, and we are listening and engaging and asking questions. So format-wise, we've got about a 6 to 10 minute presentation from Max today, and then we open it up to questions, and questions normally go about 20 minutes or so, and feedback, and then we'll cut it off right around 9 o'clock so everybody can keep to their schedule, but then we do have the room for a couple extra minutes for networking and deeper questions with our presenters. So yeah, with that, we do go around and introduce ourselves briefly and just talk about what we do. Whether it's your day job or whether it's your dream, let us know. Yeah, so announcement-wise, June 6th, we will not have a 1 Million Cups. That is because CultureCon is going on, as well as the Wisconsin Entrepreneurship Conference that day. So we wouldn't have any organizers here for you, so we are not. And
hopefully all of you would be able to.
Yes, yeah. So go out and attend and take part in other entrepreneurship events in the community. And then, do you have anything else?
That's it.
I'm prepared today.
We still don't have a date for the location move, correct?
No, we're shooting for, we haven't really announced that, but I guess we will now. We are shooting to, thanks. We're shooting to move to Starting Block when they open. So we're projecting about mid-June at this point. We'll keep the same time, but we will be in the Dream Bang space on the first floor. So we're excited about that as well. So. So with that, I'll kick off introductions. My name is Diana Pastrana. I'm the lead organizer here at 1 Million Cups. But my day job is I work for an office interiors company called M&M Office Interiors. So we do commercial design and office furniture.
I am Josh Helling. I'm an entrepreneur with a background in software product development. I also work with startups and small companies on technology and product strategy.
My name's Luke Logan. I'm the COO here actually at Live Undiscovered Music, so I'm really excited to be here. As of now, my actual day job is just serving tables at the Great Dane, so it's really kind of fun to be a part of this environment and really start going for it. So.
I'm Derek Zanger. I'm a co-founder of Live Undiscovered Music. I actually went to school at UW for engineering, so time to change up.
I'm Max. I'll be presenting today. I'm a co-founder as well of Live Undiscovered Music. Just graduated from Madison in finance, investment, and banking with a focus in healthcare, and now have committed to doing Loom full-time after school.
I'm Bev. I'm an investor and a huge supporter of Live Undiscovered.
I'm Andre. I'm a co-founder of Live Undiscovered Music as well, and I'm a student at Madison right now pursuing a degree in economics.
I'm Dakota. I'm also a co-founder, as you can tell from the gray shirt. I go to the University of Wisconsin Whitewater with an entrepreneurship degree that I'm finishing up in the summer.
Hello, my name's Curtis. I'm also a co-founder of Loom. I graduated from UW-Madison this spring with a biochemistry degree. For Loom, I do the social media marketing, and I also am taking part in the artist outreach.
My name is Elijah. I'm also a co-founder at Live Undiscovered Music. Recently graduated UW with a degree in finance, similar to Max.
My name is Tanner Call. I am also a co-founder of Live Undiscovered Music. I go to UW-Madison pursuing a degree in communication science and rhetoric, and I do a lot of the marketing with Loom.
My name is Will Block. I'm on the last one. I'm the last co-founder of Live Undiscovered Music. And right now I currently work with the legal and compliance team at the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation.
I'm Zach. Excuse me, I've got allergies and I don't work for Loom. I work for Third Space, CultureCon, and Startup Lifestyle.
Morning, everyone. My name is Matt Shue. I work for Human Scale. We're an office ergonomics company here in Wisconsin, and we just are focused around making work environments a little bit more healthy and active.
I'm JD Cat. I work for a wealth firm called Bronfman Rothschild here in Madison, focusing on nonprofits and foundations and impact investing in this space.
I'm Helen Feast. I work for Footlights. I sell the advertising into the playbills at the Overture Center, and I've been helping Loom a little bit with their outreach and PR.
My name is Sam Sutherland. I'm co-founder of a lighting startup called Spectronics, and I'm helping grow a small bakery in Madison called Violet Rose.
Sounds like great future presenters.
Especially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Danny Anderson. I work for the accounting firm Baker Tilly, and we work with a bunch of early stage and startup.
I'm Billy Kesslering, a few different hats. Right now as Bunker Labs with Madison. We help military veteran entrepreneurs start and grow companies. And then I also have a startup of my own, and I go back on military orders in a week and a half.
Good morning, Kyle Arneson, my esteemed colleague here, West Point graduate, Billy Kessler. I was a Marine aviator, came back to Madison 1,000 years ago, finished up business school. I'm a guy who's never had a real job, and I've been failing forward at these startup companies and whatever we call them today with all the fancy language, but persistence being the key. So yeah, Billy invited me over. We're standing up the Bunker Labs. We're going to move in to the starting block space. As we know, it's a little bit flexible. And we'll be having our events and networking. And our real connection there is military veterans, the veteran startup community. We started in Chicago 4 years ago. Now we've got 22 chapters. So if anyone knows any veterans of any era, old guys like me or any of the young guys and gals just transitioning out of the military, that's an area that we're standing up just to form a community. People maybe don't want to go back and get a job, get some schooling. Hey, you know what, I've got a couple ideas, they can bounce them off with us, and we'll be down in that great space with all the energy with Capital Entrepreneurs, Doyen, and Generator, and all the other folks. So, glad to be here.
That's great. I'm Greg Fergus. I run a startup incubator in Connecticut called For Catalyzer, focuses on healthcare, also helping the Loom team raise capital, start the company.
Awesome. Howdy, y'all. My name is Christopher Patterson. I am CEO of Medisoft Solutions. We are a web, mobile, and blockchain-focused software development studio based out of 100 states.
Hi, my name is Sarah Lasker. I'm the owner and lead health educator for Healthy and Huga, your life and wellness coach. I will be presenting next, what, Wednesday? Is this Wednesday? Oh my gosh, yes, next Wednesday morning, so please come check it out as well. Yay.
Nice. I'm James Cademan. I have Calls on Call. It's a phone answering service for small businesses. And I also have Draw In Customers, which is a business coaching service.
Steve Claude, co-founder of 32 Auctions, which is a silent auction website for hosting and managing fun, easy, successful silent auctions. Right, Zach?
Very successful.
Kurt Peterson, the other co-founder of 32 Auctions.
I'm DP Knudten. My company's name is Collaborator Creative because I'm a creative collaborator with a wide variety of people and individuals, companies, on everything creative. I'll just leave it at that.
Excellent.
Back to you, Diane.
Back to me. So, of course, you guys all made me nervous, and I forgot to thank my sponsors. One of the great benefits of sponsoring or partnering with Old National Bank is we've got the free coffee for you today. We also have this great space. And then Field 59 shoots our live streams. So you guys, if you can find that on our Facebook page. You can also find it on the YouTube channel and on their website directly, I believe.
And Periscope too, Twitter.
Okay.
So we can actually, we have a product called Video Link, which actually broadcasts simultaneously anywhere.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I didn't introduce myself.
So both of you actually did it. So our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a great space to be in.
Thank you. So I'm Derek. I'm Andrew. I'm a local musician, but I've also got a day job. So I run a team of commercial bankers here downtown and across greater Wisconsin, working with small businesses and entrepreneurs. So it's a great opportunity. Thanks everybody for coming in. And the only thing I have to say about the live stream and everything else is if you see it on Facebook or wherever it's at, share it, like it, post it, and we're trying to really get something going here. And obviously, by the time we get back over to the starting block building, we want to grow this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
All right. That over to you, Max.
Thank you. I really just want to start off by thanking everybody for coming in today. I think that we see this as a really great opportunity for us to kind of introduce ourselves into Madison before we launch in August. We're moving into the starting block building as well, and we're really excited about that. We spent a lot of time thinking about where we wanted to be located, if we wanted to be in Madison or really try to go to another city, and we ended up realizing that Madison was actually the perfect city for us, and that the resources here and in starting block and through the university and the state have really been exceptional, and I think that that's something that's really exciting and something we really look forward to not only experiencing but also learning more about and getting some of those resources. And I think that anybody that has any ideas or thinks there's people that we can connect to, we're really always open and trying to meet as many people as we can, especially early while we're trying to get a good start. So to really talk about Loom, you really have to focus on the industry first. Loom was founded out of a Madison-based think tank. Like you guys saw, engineers, comp-sci, business, finance, economics, and we really started looking at industries that were growing really rapidly but had antiquated business models, or business models that weren't necessarily keeping up with the growth of the industry. We were actually really surprised to see that that was music. The first thing we noticed is that music streaming is growing at 60% a year. Live music is also growing, but specifically music streaming globally is growing ridiculously fast. We were then really surprised to see that with that fast growth, most of the larger companies that were controlling the industry, like Spotify, Pandora, SoundCloud, Apple Music, were actually doing pretty poor financially. And so we really kind of started looking into, well, why is that? We then noticed that 99% of all audio streaming is only of the top 10% of corporate and mainstream music, meaning that less than 1% of all artists actually are able to make a livable income off of their music. Now that really surprised us, because for an industry to be growing so rapidly and for companies to be doing so poor financially, it was shocking to us that little percentage of artists was actually making a livable income. But it turns out that the two are actually really interrelated. The corporations and record labels push all of this music onto music lovers and fans on websites, meaning that these platforms actually have to pay the most expensive royalty and licensing payments by only highlighting the music that requires those payments. So we started looking at what are ways that we can not only fix the financial aspects of the industry, but also make it better for all of the users, the artists and the fans around there that are getting a little neglected by the mainstream media and corporations. And we hope that the solution is Loom. Loom is a music discovery and streaming platform, but it's actually going to be built on a social network. So we only focus exclusively on emerging talent. Instead of competing for the 1% of corporate and mainstream music like Spotify, Apple, Pandora, SoundCloud, we actually focus on the other 99%. We call it the long tail. We want to decrease the disparity in exposure between corporate and new music, not only for financial reasons, but because we see this as the larger target market that most of the industry isn't really focusing on. The next thing we thought about is, okay, now that we know how the business model works for most of these companies, how can we make it more engaging for the fans so that we can actually complete the goal of using streaming as a means to an end to gain larger fan bases for these artists? And we decided, well, the way that the next generation wants to discover music is not by AI algorithms or predictive technology telling you what to listen to. It's actually through their friends. We focus on the way that Generation Z, young millennials, want to discover music, and it turns out that it's much more of a social experience. So we're attempting to gamify music discovery, which is also a very big thing in technology right now, is gamifying certain experiences. Users right now, especially the younger generation, kids in high school, our friends, they want to be able to share and rank and review and engage and tag their friends in music and experiences in ways that don't really exist right now, because right now corporations control the direction of music. I think over 30% of music right now that's streamed on Spotify is only music that's actually decided by record labels or corporations and put onto the playlist. No ability for any other artist to actually promote their music or advocate for themselves. So we're trying to create a platform that allows them to advocate for themselves by using their fans and communities as a catalyst for growth. And essentially we're doing that through social networking and gamification. Lastly, because we're changing the business model a little bit, we want fans to control the direction of music. We don't want corporations and record labels to tell people what to listen to, because then we don't know where music is headed. If we can let fans control the direction of music by not telling them what to listen to, we can potentially create a digital talent pool for live entertainment around the world. attempting to get artists into other areas of the business where they can actually make an income. Because while the barrier for making money through streaming is astronomically high, the barrier for making money through live entertainment and getting a fan base in a local area that allows you to do that is a much lower barrier to entry, but not something that anybody has really tried to capitalize on. So now we can talk a little bit about the business model. One really cool thing for us is we started looking at these companies like Spotify and Pandora, and we noticed that these artists have to pay sometimes $80 a month to put their music on a platform that doesn't actually promote their music. Our platform is free for fans, it's free for artists, and it's free for artists to upload all of their music. The good thing that for us though is we only focus on that emerging up and coming talent. So we use streaming as a means to an end, meaning that we don't have to pay any expensive royalty and licensing payments, offering us a low cost operating model that's obviously very scalable. Next, we really tried to focus on, okay, well then how can we use our revenue streams? How can we use our revenue generating objectives to increase user-to-user engagement and potentially offer artists a way to get involved into other areas of the industry that allow them to make a livable income? The first thing we came up from, and this is really exciting, is called our illuminating feature. And this is something that I could probably talk about for 10 minutes, so please feel free to bring it up in the Q&A, but I don't want to go too long. We started looking at streaming technology and really where it was headed, and we noticed that Amazon owns a company called Twitch, which allows users to actually live stream their favorite esports gamers. These users can buy bits, which is because it's a free service, they buy bits and are able to cheer on their favorite esports gamers, showing them gratification. Well, we thought that that business model would be even more applicable to music. People want to have a stake in the music game, not only have a stake in the music game, but also be able to cheer on, highlight, and boost their favorite musicians, whether it's their local area, their friends, and we offer them the ability to buy tokens or earn tokens through our platform to be able to rank, highlight, and boost artists or songs in their specific geographical areas so that we can circulate more of that music and help them get larger fan bases. The next thing is, because we have such a large geographical emphasis, we've started focusing on some new data technology called the data lake that allows us to not have to figure out our data schemes prior to our actual application being finalized, meaning that we could combine streaming, social media, and live entertainment and figure out where music is blowing up in terms of like a heat map, where genres are blowing up, where artists and songs are doing really well. Because now we're creating a platform that is completely directed by the direction of the fans. Fans decide what is actually blowing up in specific areas. There's no potential to see this on other platforms because the music is told what we're supposed to listen to. The corporations tell us this. We're creating a platform that allows fans to tell A&R companies, record labels, publishers, what people they should be looking for because of the really great emerging talent that's out there in these specific areas. Next, one of our other revenue streams, and this isn't all of them, but we wanted to keep the presentation kind of short for today, is advertising. Current platforms on free models such as SoundCloud and Spotify are dominated by audio advertising. We have the opportunity to change that up a little bit and focus more on what the user wants, which is obviously a lot less audio advertising. We can follow models more similarly to targeted advertising based on our data analytics that focuses more on our social networking, meaning that we can do free advertising through streaming and focus on advertising through our feeds and explore pages that are also dominated by not digital monetization, but actual human beings. I'll finish up here a little bit by talking about a little bit of our team. Like we mentioned, we really have a strong group of founders, right? We are business majors, economics, finance, graphic design, economics, a lot of different things. But we wanted to put our team in a position for success in the future in areas that we didn't have as much knowledge. So we went out and we found the best possible people in the music industry that could help us. One of those is Randall Mays. Randall is the president of Clear Channel Communications for over 20 years, which oversaw iHeartRadio. He was also on the board of SiriusXM and is still on the board of Live Nation. He is one of the top influencers in the music community in the entire world. Next, we started thinking about legal. The legality of music is always a moving target, something that we noticed right away. So we went out and found the #1 music lawyer in the world, according to Billboard in 2017, Gary Greenstein, who works for Wilson Sonsini, WSGR, represents companies like, is the main representative for companies like Spotify, Pandora, Napster, Bandcamp, YouTube, and many other companies in the music space. We talked to him and he was more than willing to work with us and really liked what we were doing. That allowed us to really focus on development. For a young company like us with not a lot of resources initially, we really focused on trying to find the best possible developer situation we could. Our developers are located in Austin, Texas, and LA. They work for a company called Offshore IT, and the lead product manager is Barry Johnson, who has developed a number of really successful products. Hopefully the goal is to bring that internal in the next year or so that we can continue to develop new functionality, new other aspects to the platform that we're really excited about. Last thing here is market adoption and timeline. We'll just quick run through this. Loom got incorporated in February. So far we've raised $250,000. We're really excited to announce that we launch on iOS nationally August 17th as part of the 2018 Forward Technology Festival. We actually rented out the Monona Terrace, and I'd really like to see everybody there. We're going to do some more public PR for that coming up here, but it'll be a really great chance to get everybody out, learn a little bit more about the team, experience some great music, and really kick off Loom as a tech startup in Madison for the future. So that's a little bit about where we are and where we've kind of come. And I know that we're supposed to kind of come up with like an ask for the community, and that was something that we had talked with our team about because, and like I had mentioned earlier, we really are just learning about all the really great resources in Madison. We're really excited to be a part of Starting Block. We're really excited to still have students at the UW working with a lot of state organizations. But one thing that we really are, that we don't have as much experience on is event planning and our launch party and some other things like that. So we've been working with some people to help us on that. But we think we have a really cool event that's part of Forward Fest, and we're really looking for sponsors actually that want to sponsor and be advocates for a really exciting early stage tech startup that's coming to the Midwest and coming to Madison. And we just don't always have the resources or the ability or the knowledge or experience to know who those sponsors should be or could be. And so I think if anybody has any great ideas on potential candidates or people that would like to be advocates for this, we would really like to work with them. Thank you. Also, I know we want to open this up to some Q&A as well, and I think I also, if the team also wants to answer any questions as well, everybody has, we have a plethora of skills, and I think that everybody brings a lot of different things to the table, and if I, ask one of them to answer a question, I think that it'll be a good opportunity for all of us to get some more practice, but also because I think that they sometimes know a little bit more about some of the stuff than I do. Okay, any questions? Kick it off. Ray?
Yeah. I'm familiar with Bandcamp and Reverb Nation. How, from the artist's point of view, how is Loom different?
So let's focus on Reverb Nation is a little older, and I think Bandcamp is probably a closer comparable, I would say. Bandcamp, one, is not really a social network at all. You incorporate some of the features where you allow users to put, highlight or donate to certain artists and their music, right? But to really have a successful platform that focuses on artists, you have to really tailor it to fans. And because it's not really based on a social network, Bandcamp kind of limits the way that not only these fans can discover the music, but how they can actually engage with it. You can only listen to a specific amount of songs on Bandcamp before you either have to pay or you have to really do some other things. Our platform really focuses on the fact that we don't need to cause our users to pay anything to actually leverage the platform for as long as they want. And the other aspect that we really are excited about Loom, and one of the questions where people always ask us, that really is how MySpace started, or Reverb Nation, or a lot of other things, is, we really put a large emphasis on our mobile application. The free versions of mobile applications for Bandcamp and SoundCloud and Spotify are really poor because they are such subscription-based service models mostly that they don't allow really to make playlists or do queues or pick certain songs really, and they're dominated by advertisements, and they limit the amount of music that specific artists can upload unless they upgrade to services. And Loom really tries to get rid of that by incorporating some of those other elements that kind of allow us to do that. Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, amazing presentation. That was really great, and you were right on time, so I appreciate that. When I hear your name, I think of the connection from the social aspect to in a bar watching the show, right? I want to see the live music, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
And from a social standpoint, a lot of, Facebook and stuff like that, they're really pushing to be event focused, right? So do you have that element where you're creating this online social network, but you're also driving business to a bar? And I think that would be a good revenue stream for you as far as sponsorship is that bar who's benefiting from people showing up?
We want to work with both bars and venues. One of the things that we talk to people a lot about is, right now, Madison, and this is another reason why we want to be in Madison. Madison is the #1 live music college campus in the U.S. And right now, we have, Majestic, the Sylvie's opening up, which is right by Starting Block, who works with Frank, is owned by Frank Productions. You have the Orpheum, you have Liquid on campus. And right now, we bring in a lot of really, really big talent from the coasts. Some really great EDM artists, hip hop, rap, which is a lot of what our genres are really going to focus on early on in our target market. But because there's that focus on all of these headliners, you don't have a lot of people coming until the headliner opens up, meaning that there isn't really a big emphasis on a lot of the openers. But because of Loom has such a large geographical emphasis on our application, we can actually grow, and this is the whole plan, to grow fan bases in the specific geographical areas that these artists are from, so that they have leverage to get involved into live entertainment. So now suddenly, fans are going, wow, I know that guy. They're showing up a little earlier to the shows. More tickets are being sold. More liquor's being bought, which is really all the venues or bars really care about, right? Because they actually don't make money off of the ticket sales. Yeah. Either one.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm a huge fan of The Voice, and it was just on these last couple, like last night was the
Yes.
But so is there a tie, like a lot of those that didn't win, for example, are those kind of the people that you would be saying like, hey, like Britton, who really should have won, he would be great, well actually no, he would be great to help bring out, like as you're looking for those other talents, like is that kind of like, as you're looking out of LA and things
That
like
was
that?
that was like one of the questions. I was like, okay, guys, you guys should ask that question. Like, one of you guys don't wear your Loom shirt, and then you ask me, like, throw me some softballs, right? We like to think about our platform like, because all of these current platforms are dominated by corporations, the bureaucracy behind everything, it's not up to the fans to decide what is going to make it, who's going to be the next big thing. We can create a platform that is a digital American Idol, essentially. By allowing fans to decide, we like this artist, we can get this artist trending, we can blow this artist up, not only in our specific geographical area, not only in our specific campus, but all around the world, in ways that doesn't exist on any platform right now. And that's something that we're really excited about, and something I don't even think we really highlight enough when we're talking to people as well.
Is there an element of that blowing up an artist locally that's protected by not stuff in the ballot box with a really good manager who hires a virtual assistant in the Philippines to vote over and over again for your artist?
Yeah, one of the big things right now, one of the big controversies is there's like Spotify and Instagram, and there's all of these platforms that kind of work with Spotify and Instagram to basically decide what is blowing up, right? You can buy plays, you can buy views on these platforms. But Loom is entirely decided by, you have to share something, you have to tag your friends in it, you have to rank it, you have to play it. So you can stuff the ballot box, but only if you have a community of fans and friends to be able to do that, meaning that you actually do want to support the artist. Stuffing the ballot box on Loom only means that you actually really enjoy a specific artist and that you actually want to listen to him, unless you're willing to press the replay button, a couple thousand times.
Well, there are plenty of labels that'll do that.
That's true.
Can you clarify how the artists are making money? Is it only by tickets at a venue?
Yeah, so right now, artists, over 99% of artists don't make any money on any platform. They actually lose money, right? Well, we want to give artists that actually don't want to just make a living, but also are just hobby artists, a way that they can share their music with everybody without having any worry about their ability to lose money. So we don't think that we need to directly help artists to get them into live entertainment or everything. You can't help every single artist. But we think we're giving artists the tools, the necessary tools, so that they can get involved into live entertainment. They don't have to worry at all about losing money through streaming. And eventually, the goal is that Loom potentially could be a graduation platform for somebody to go onto Spotify or Apple Music and make a lot of money. Because right now, they know they're putting their music on there to make absolutely no money, to lose money forever. We want to get artists into live entertainment, get them signed by by record labels and artist management companies. But to do that, you actually need to have this fan base and this leverage base to get involved into the local scene so that you can succeed. Eventually, if we have a platform where we can blow up artists one at a time, and then they can actually go make money through streaming, we would actually consider that our goal, something that we actually would want, because it means we're doing something really successful. And in itself has a lot of M&A and strategic opportunities for us.
So it's awareness.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So no money changes hands between
Nope.
artists or anything? Okay.
So as part of your development of the product, have you gone to places like Knoxville that has live music every night, or a DJ every night, you know, where they are constantly tasked with booking talent and wanting to keep things fresh?
Mhm.
I mean, is that?
One of the biggest misconceptions about Loom is that we started this because if you're in college, you start a company because it's either around beer or it's around music, right? But we actually started our company because we were a think tank that looked at industries that were growing really rapidly, that had the opportunities like you're mentioning. But we also really love music. So we have spent, I can't even imagine how many concerts we went to, Nashville, High-End Saloon, Majestic, Orpheum, Liquid, in our college time. And that's actually really where we began to notice the problem. And so then it just really comes down to, okay, what are the best ways to figure out who's booking the talent? You know, we have the opportunity to run a lot of competitions on our platform that can directly get artists into live entertainment. And then you suddenly are bridging the gap a little bit between streaming, social networking, and how it relates to live music in specific areas. I know there was a question in the back.
Yeah, so is there any upside potential for you guys from kind of the what's in it for me standpoint as you create a platform for some of these original artists to put their stuff on there before they had to go through the corporations to get to where they're at?
Yeah.
What's the upside potential for you guys? I mean, do you take a piece of the action at some point in time? Do you just feel really good about it if they get to sign a big contract? Because that's nice, but from a business perspective, how are you turning that into money?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of our current revenue streams are related to the fact that we offer a free platform, right? But we can do things similar to how Amazon does Twitch with illuminating and advertising and data and analytics. We also can connect artists to outside resources, right? A lot of artists that are emerging don't have high quality products to make really great sound quality. So we can connect them to mix and master companies, to studio companies. There's profit sharing in that. But we've probably had 20 people that have been like, you know, you're getting a lot of unsigned artists that have a lot of talent on your platform and potentially getting them to the point where they can blow up and be really successful. So it's something that we're thinking about. But like right now, you know, from a culture and community standpoint, we kind of are still on the point where we want to be able to help artists and then allow them to do what they want with their careers. But I think that at some point in the potential, we would explore the ability to, hey, we really help artists blow up, and then we can either keep their music that's on the platform before the music that they sign a record label, or take a piece of, you know, some kind of deal that they would end up creating. But for now, that's really not our main concern. To generate revenue generating objectives and for them to be successful, you need to have a platform that has a sufficient user base to be able to do that. And by incorporating that a little too early, we could potentially scare away a lot of really, really great talent.
I just think I can tell you've thought about it.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's just good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it is something in the back of your mind,
yeah,
you know, because eventually someone's going to blow up. That comes through Loom. It's going to happen.
We have friends right now that were a lot of the inspiration that we started the company. They're paying money to put all their money on these platforms. They're some of the more talented artists that we've ever seen. They're not blowing up because there's no way for them to advocate for themselves. And we think that those are artists that are going to blow up on our platform. So yeah, I think that there is a lot of potential there.
So,
yeah.
So my question is about, I'm trying to understand, you've got your artist base, and you've got your user base through your social network. It seems like a lot of it's going to depend on how many users you're going to be able to acquire in a certain period of time. So do you have any goals on that? What's your customer acquisition process going to be like? How are you going to get that potential to actually make a difference?
That's a really good question, and something that we have spent a lot of time on in these last couple weeks. You know, one of the big shortcomings, at least for myself, was that when I was growing up, I didn't understand what marketing really was, right? I didn't understand what traction was or any of that, and I think that sometimes we kind of forget a little bit about that, and then really now it's like, wow, we really created this great product, we really believe that it's going to be really useful. How can we monetize it? How can we focus it? And it really comes down to, well, you can't hit every genre, you can't hit every geographic location, and you can't blow everything up at once. So we went to what are the companies that have done something like this successful? And you look at not only companies like Facebook, that started in Harvard with a simple email address and expanded from a central point outward, or companies like Snapchat, Tinder, Twitter. But you also look at companies like Eat Street, who had a lot of competition in Grubhub that dominated the Midwest in Chicago. So they went, okay, let's focus on smaller cities in the area, in Wisconsin, so that we can leverage those, because Grubhub's not paying any attention to those. Kind of like Spotify and all these platforms aren't paying attention to any of these younger artists. And then blow up from there. So our current strategy, and one that's evolving and one that I'm sure we would always take a lot of advice and feedback on, is let's focus on the Generation Z, the youngest possible students that really are excited about that they're artists, they're fans, they want to get involved, and let's dominate cities like Madison, the UW school system, genres that we know that our target market is most likely to appeal to, which is EDM, hip-hop, rap, and the next genre that we don't even know is actually coming yet. Let's focus on those areas in that specific age demographic, in that specific geographical location. Let's dominate that like we've seen companies do in the past with that business model, and then let's expand outward, not only geographically, but to different genres and different age segments.
I think it's a really cool vision, and the model is super interesting. I'm curious, I mean, on the one hand, you have a big platform thing, and sort of building on the last comment, you need a network effect in the platform for it to kind of work out.
Virality.
It'll be expensive to build and scale the platform, and so I'm curious about how your plans sequence the different revenue streams you have in mind with that platform growth. Like when you expect it to turn on, and I guess maybe my main question is, which revenue stream do you think is the first focus?
So I would say that, like we mentioned earlier, you need a large user base to get all of that to happen. I would say that the revenue stream that we're the most focused on, we have a lot of different revenue potential, and I think that we don't even know a lot of potential revenue streams that we're going to be able to capitalize on in the future. Right? We didn't even throw up one on the screen that was connecting artists and fans to other outside resources in the industry, or the ability to buy tickets on certain platforms as well, like
Tickets
potential,
merch,
right?
All sorts of stuff.
So there's a lot of potential. I think the one that we're the most excited about is the ability to illuminate, to highlight artists, right? Amazon bought Twitch, I want to say, in 2012, and integrated bits into their platform less than 2 years ago. In the first 10 months, they made over $12 million in that specific aspect. And from a psychological point, it's kind of hard to understand, right? Why would somebody just want to donate money? Well, what we can do on our platform is we can allow users to gain tokens by ranking music, sharing music, engaging with the platform, or buying those tokens, and which increases our overall goal of circulating as much content as in those local areas. And what really is the important part is it increases the gamification aspect of it. Suddenly you're seeing your friends are boosting an artist that he thinks is the next big thing. They're more likely not only to listen to it, but then also to want to have a stake in that game as well. And to go back to your original point, it really does come down to how do you get that virality coefficient? How do you get that marketing? And again, like, a lot of what we're doing is very grassroots, right? We want grassroots American Idol version. We want grassroots gamification in the Midwest. And so it really comes down to, okay, well, what are the ways to do that? And I think a lot of it is we can avoid some marketing and some expanding expenses by focusing on that grassroots organization, targeting Greek outreach in colleges and high schools in the area, and get that network effect, get that virality. And that's really why our marketing plan has been poised in that direction, at least initially.
That makes sense, and it also has the nice benefit that works even if you're at a couple of focused geographical areas, unlike maybe A&R analytics, which are going to be great when you have critical mass. And before then, maybe less.
And there's some cool things we can do with exclusive advertising early on to do some revenue generation. But data and analytics is the platform has to grow, right? The illuminating can kind of come on right away because it's kind of an exciting thing. We can start connecting artists to mix and master companies, recording studios right away. That's something that we can implement really quickly. And merchandise. The key. We spoke with somebody yesterday. Is what are people buying right now in our demographic that we're looking at, and how can we implement that into the platform to make it successful? And I think that is going to continue to evolve over time.
Hey Max, can you talk about the fact that when you tried to realize that you have to raise this next round, beyond that, are people looking at your revenue models, or are they just looking at how many, talk a little bit about what it seems like is more important. Is it revenue or is it other things?
There's so many different ways to attack that question, and one of the first ways that we really began to realize was we actually had a couple of VC firms that were reaching out to us, one of which is actually going to be in Starting Block as well, that focuses a lot on data and analytics. And there's a reason why tech valuations are very high, and it's not always because obviously the revenue streams are very high. Look at Spotify, right? Spotify is valued at $25 billion, it does make a lot of revenue, but it's because the ability for you to get users is often more important initially than your ability to get revenue streams to get started right away. Now, we've attacked it from both sides. We want the revenue streams to get started in a quick manager, but we also want to offer a platform that people are excited to use it right away. A good example of this is that new game Fortnite out there, right? It's free for users, they can do it, it's still technically in its beta version. They've never done any, like they've never actually created a revenue stream that directly relates to people using the application. But now they've incorporated things like Twitch, but they've also incorporated things like skins, where now the platform is free, so people can buy skins that they put on their player when they do the platform. And I think the number was like, Tanner, what was the number that they made in the first like specific amount of time?
265 million in the first year of integrating skins into Twitch.
So just add-ons that they could purchase on the platform that they could use. They made $265 million on a free application by integrating add-ons that made their profiles cooler. And that's something that, you know, has a lot of potential. It's something that we're still working on, right? We're still developing a lot of these things. What's the most effective way for us to integrate stuff like this?
Can we talk about your operating costs? Like storage for all this music? And
the good thing for us is that that problem has really been solved, right? We live in a very technological world. Storage is pennies on the dollar. We have a low operating cost model that allows us to scale easily, like I said before. We don't pay royalty and licensing fees, so our big cost right there, it's bandwidth and server and storage costs, right? So we use AWS, and we don't expect our operating costs and that storage expense, even from the streaming and social networking side, to be very high at all as we continue to scale and grow. So really, that has allowed us to put money into the areas that actually matter. Development, making sure we're covered on the legal side. We're doing incorporation, we're setting up our corporation in the correct way. But really development, that's really where it allows us to grow. So we can put money on there because our operating costs are low and allow us to scale pretty easily. Yeah.
Speaking of legal then, who owns the music? And if I upload music to your server, are you now taking ownership of it?
No.
And what about the people with their cell phones? Is it getting downloaded or is it streaming only?
It'll be streaming only, at least initially, and then eventually we'll do some download. But no, we work with mostly unsigned emerging talent that has it's user curated content that's also user uploaded, which benefits us a lot. We're under the DMCA Compliance Act registration, which allows us to be safeguarded by a lot of those worries about copyright infringement and things like that. We can really protect ourselves in a lot of that way, but we don't own any of that music, which is kind of what the gentleman in the back was really referring to earlier. Like, we could capitalize on that, I think, if we really wanted to, but initially we're really not concerned about that, and it's not really one of our main goals, at least initially, so that we can benefit our user base as much as possible.
Okay, last question.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of go off those questions. So with this being a free upload for any artist, do you guys have any filters in place in terms of what something can upload? I mean, traffic going by or something like that.
We'll put some transcoding processes in as we continue to grow, but also, one, like we said, the data is really cheap. Also, unlike a lot of other platforms, it all depends on the user, on what stuff gets viewed and what stuff actually blows up. So if somebody does choose to put that on there, I'm not terribly concerned that we're really gonna have to worry about it, because it's what stuff is actually, what's the community want to see? What stuff are people generating and people really interested in? And the other thing is, I mean, we do some kind of we limit, right, the size of specific songs so we can avoid some of that clutter. And we'll also have a team of people that goes in and make sure that all of the content is obviously very legitimate, and we're putting in systems in place that really take care of a lot of that as well.
All right, that is time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Get a photo of your crew before you leave.
Absolutely.
And I would love to hear from you guys again at 1 Million Cups in a year and see where you're at.
We'll be in the same building.
Terribly honest. Okay, thanks guys.
And we are looking for engagement activities. So guys, you guys are not above throwing some t-shirts on and pouring beers in the festivals.
Greg, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. We'll see you in Starting Block.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to